Elizabeth Taylor is the best.
pearl.
She said, "Men buy me diamonds, I buy me pearls."
I love that. I remember
You
that.
remember that?
Yes, I do.
That's great. And I know Barbara Bush. She said, "I wear pearls with jeans."
Absolutely.
And I said, "Whoo, okay,
well,
I can do that."
now pearls are, and Kamala Harris, she brought
them
that.
back.
Yeah,
Yes.
she brought them back.
But what I like about hers is they're colorful. She wears all the colors. And when I was I was taking technical communication at Columbus State.
Oh.
And so we had the speech class, the English class, the
Right.
writing class, and all my classes was on pearls. And the kids was following, we were all in it.
Wow.
So they said, "How much do we need to know about pearls?"
Oh, I love that.
But the first pearls were worn by men, not women.
Interesting from a historical perspective.
Yeah.
See, men was rocking that stuff.
Yes, tons of it.
Wait a minute, but we took it to the next level.
yeah.
Now that's what we
yeah.
do. You can rock it, but we're going to elevate it.
Welcome to Senior Talk with Miss Bonnie, where each episode we explore the joys and challenges of aging. Join Miss Bonnie as she talks with experts, seniors, and caregivers about topics that matter to the senior community. From health and wellness, to relationships and family, to finances and social engagement, we'll cover it all. This episode, Miss Bonnie sits down with Miss Pam Shields, a dynamic senior activist and community organizer. So whether you're a senior yourself or just want to understand and support the older adults in your life, you're in the right place. I'm producer Chuck, and without further ado, Senior Talk with Ms. Bonnie.
Hi everybody, my name is Bonnie A.G. and welcome to Senior Talk with Miss Bonnie. Let's begin. Today we're going to talk to Pam Shields. Who is Pam Shields, we ask? She is quite the advocate for the seniors in our community. She has set out to make sure that we seniors are given certain and knowledgeable about certain things that goes on in our community. Because sometimes we can live right in the midst of it and don't realize that it's available to us. Yeah. Or how to go about finding out if it's available to us. Like who to call.
Yeah. And she's not only speaks to seniors, but she also speaks to administration. She's got the ear of the mayor. She's really connected with city politics and some of the organizations that are really heavy in the city about getting things done. She's a connector. She brings people together. And, one of the goals that we had when we set out to do this was to build a community of seniors where we can exchange information about different services and things that.
And maybe also, and there's sometimes you can give people tips on how to improve things and you don't even know that you've asked them for it. And she's so in tune to what you feel and how you feel about our seniors in our community. She's lived in Columbus for quite a few years, and she's a part of our Franklin County, and we're glad to have her. And we have and I hope I've covered enough questions that she can answer something that may be on your mind. But I tell you what, before we go any further, I do want to thank her for stopping by, and I want to let you guys know, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's have our conversation with Pam Shields.
Well, we got a little bit more ado to do, because while we giving shouts, I got to give a strong shout out to Charles Cooper, who's my partner in crime in Epic Publishing, but is also a resource himself with the youth, and he's an advocate for the youth. And he's the one who introduced us to Mrs. Shields. So
right.
He was really responsible for making this episode happen. So we want to give an extra strong shout out with love, with honor, and tribute to our brother, Mr. Charles Cooper.
That's right.
Okay, now you got it.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Charles, for your input and for your participation in this. Without further ado, now we can talk to Pam. Okay? Yes. Have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning. My name is Bonnie A.G., and welcome to Senior Talk with Miss Bonnie. This morning, our format's going to be a little different. We're going to talk one-on-one with Miss Shields I tell you what, why don't I let her introduce herself?
Good morning, and again, happiness and wellness extended to all our listening audience. Thank you, Ms. Bonnie.
You're more than welcome.
My name is Pamela Shields, and probably the more sensitive topic and relevant topic is to introduce the name of the organization that I founded and organized, the Urban Aging Residents Coalition, and the acronym is simply called UARC. That was founded in the midst of the pandemic. And Ms. Bonnie, you know, and I know how devastating COVID-19 and the pandemic was, particularly to those vulnerable populations, those elderly people, but when you get a laser focus, people of color. Yeah. And we lost many of our peers, and the devastation led to family members and extended family members not being able to be there with them in their last final moments. So, you remember that.
Yeah. Some things you kind of wipe, you don't want to remember. Yes, that was a time. That was a time when I think everything has a reason.
Yes.
And everything has a purpose. And I think during that time, we were meant to be just where we were, to react to just what was going on. It takes a brave person to say goodbye to your loved one, and you're not close to them.
Yes.
You can't get close to them, and the telephone is just not the same.
It's not.
But they're going on to their glory, but we still have that. I wish I could have been there. Why couldn't they have let, so that was a very sad time. And just think about our poor seniors that had nobody.
That's the place.
Nobody,
That's the space that I'm in, because it's already devastating to be on your deathbed, but to be there and not be connected to your loved ones who you love and know was more profound. So as a result, you remember all the stipulations that the governor and really on the federal level extended and mandated at the state and city levels. We had to stay isolated in our homes, quarantined. And what I know about this whole aging process, you can't isolate us and expect us to thrive. So that's when I had just had major surgery in March of 2020. And that's when I decided in the summer that I couldn't take it any longer because I couldn't share that space with family members. And I got a group of the elder seniors together. I called it the Front Porch Chat. And we were in the front yard, had young people to come and play jazz for us on the lawn. And we spread out. There was only 15. And we did the 6-foot space and all of that, wore a mask. But God is so good because just that gathering was enough to strengthen us to say, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep in this space of trying to do what I need to do so I survive.
Yeah, that's all right. That's okay. Well, the way I started wanting to do these podcasts is our seniors, when they have retired and some downsize their housing, go into senior living, where those people either sit around all day fully dressed, jewelry, everything, but they don't have any desire to go any further than downstairs in the little community room or along the hallway or maybe out on the porch or something like that, but they don't have no desire. Where we're located, we can walk anywhere we want to go, but they don't want to even do that. So I was thinking, I told my son, I says, Chuck, why can't, I talk about what we seniors need to do and how things have changed, how you were living one way, you work, then you come back to live the way you were living when you were single, or prior to your job.
That is
You
correct.
can't go back the same. It's the same thing but different.
Yes.
Nothing is new under the sun.
That is correct.
You know, but it's just it's the same concept in your brain, but the outcome is going to be 100% different. People's attitudes, people's conversation, even your family changes toward you. Because even my sister and I, we're the only two left out of 5. She's 78, I'm 74. And we're losing the ones that are between 45 and 55.
Yes.
That group, because now they're becoming grandparents, or their parents, their children are now, becoming parents to teenagers now.
That is
so
correct.
that's time consuming. And the grandparents time consuming. So Gwen and I, we're just kind of left with each other. And it happens so gradually until you didn't even know it was happening, until it didn't hit you in the face.
Yes.
And then, what do? We depend on each other too much. Or is it too much? Yes. But we're all we have. So we have to make do. We have to alter our thoughts and
Yes.
everything to engulf each other.
Yes.
Now she's gotten to the scary stage of getting old,
Yes.
That oncoming car is going to hit us, or I can't see at night. You've been wearing glasses since you was 3.
That is
Of
correct.
course you can see at night,
But
but
it
now
is a
this-
difference.
it's
Absolutely. Yes.
So, and then she says, but you're young still. And I'm thinking, that's what you think. Try getting out of the bed. Take you
Right.
5 minutes. Well, you can throw your legs, or you just can't get up right
That
away.
is correct. That would be, I'm checking all the boxes. I'm with you on that.
So, but to her, I'm young, since I'm 4 years younger than her. But nonetheless, it's still a mental struggle.
Absolutely. it
And
is.
and I try to, and she'll say things like, I'm going to let you. No. And see, and that gets me up. But what it does, I had to figure out, it gives me conversation with her.
Absolutely.
Even
that
if
dialogue is
right,
very
even if it's
important.
just a little rah, that's okay. I'm talking back to
Absolutely.
her.
Absolutely.
So it took me a minute to understand what she was doing. But all in all, isn't life grand though?
It is absolutely grand.
Isn't life
And
grand?
one of my favorite songs is performed by Louis Armstrong.
Okay.
And he performed this in 1968, and I can't remember who was the songwriter, but he talks about a wonderful world.
Oh yes.
And he sung that in terms of the climate and the landscape that was happening in the late 60s with the Vietnam War, segregation, voters' rights, civil rights, all of these things, lynchings, all of these things that you and I are most familiar with. But he still sung that song and said, it's a wonderful world.
Yes.
Because it's how we put the lens on so that we then seek out where the wonderful aspects of the world
is. Exactly.
And then we still must deal with the infractions, the inequities, the unfairness that happens, particularly to people of color. So I want to flip back, because you said some very powerful things
Oh, thank you.
that connect me. Why UARC, and why am I connected to you? I think it's important for our listening audience to understand the dynamics of connection. So I love the fact that you enter into dialogue, conversation with your sister, and you said even if it's a squabble or whatever, you still use it as a positive motivation to go where you need to go and start accomplishing some things. So my platform under UARC is broadened a little bit more. We meet monthly, once a month. And that was based on data that I began to hear about as I too was entering the aging process. The data simply says that according to the lifespan for African Americans, particularly here in this 43203 zip code area, but in many areas, our life expectancy is shortened. We're ranging anywhere from age 68 to 72. And that's based upon chronic diseases and the fact that we're not getting the proper medical care that we need. So our white counterparts, their life expectancy is the reverse. Theirs is much higher, 78 to age 82. So you look at that gap. And what I'm finding with many of our peers, we're not taking advantage of resources.
Oh my gosh, you are so right.
And what I know that if we're not at the table, if we're not in the room, if we're not in the space, they're not going to look for you. So that's what UARC does monthly. And I started it, it's only for 2 hours, generally from 12 noon, the last Wednesday of every month, and we're complete by 2 o'clock. And I started out by having one speaker come in and consume that whole time. And then I start thinking and encountering all these other resources out here. So I started bringing in multiple speakers and even doing panel discussions so that the seniors and the elder seniors and older adults, we do have to include our older adults who don't want to be called senior citizens. And I've got a comment about that. And I'm okay with you when you're in that space. But what they need to understand is these resources are coming, and if you don't access them, they're gone.
I know.
And if we don't know it's out there, we really do not understand what we're missing.
I agree. I agree with you 100%.
So that's how I started this whole UARC
But my
concept.
thing, okay, I understand that, and that is so good for us seniors, okay? We didn't know any, I had no clue about this.
Sure.
Clue.
That's me. I'm State Office on Aging. They have a well check-in call.
Okay.
And I got involved in this program in May of 2020. And Governor DeWine, because we were isolated in our homes, wanted the senior citizens to have a way to at least talk to someone. And when you register for it, it's an automated call that checks on you at whatever time you designate. And they'll attempt to call 3 times. If you don't pick up, they'll call your alternate. See, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
See, I know nothing about that.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. And if your alternate don't answer, they will do a well checkup with the sheriff department. Come ring the doorbell. Ms. Shields, are you all right? Are you in there? See, it's things like that. And I was watching TV because I was laying up from surgery, May of 2020, saw the advertisement, and even he spoke about it, and the director of the Ohio Office on Aging is Director McElroy, Ursula McElroy, and she was speaking on it. So I joined the program, and I've been in it now for 3 years, and love it. And I mean, every single day of the year, they call you.
Okay.
And it's automated, and it's so great. And when you don't respond, they have a staff person call, or they'll call my niece, who is my alternate. She's at Wilberforce. She works in the president's cabinet, and she's doing a lot of great things. They're trying to build Wilberforce back up. And she'll call me, I'm Pam, are you all right? Because I got the call. That's the kind of thing that if we don't take advantage of it,
we don't get it.
We won't get it.
Don't use it, lose it, you know.
Absolutely, and those funds will go somewhere else. Go ahead. You were going to make a comment.
No, I just wanted to say that would be so great for the building that I'm in. And then this once a month meeting. I'm like, all I could think about was me and my sister going.
Absolutely.
Giving us something to do, something to look forward to, something on our calendar, besides doctor's appointments.
Oh, my God.
That would be something that we can do. And
Miss Bonnie, don't get me all excited and I'll start screaming and yelling in the microphone, because that's what we want.
This is right.
The kinship.
And then
Watch this, the kinship of our peers.
Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yes, that would be
Because you
so
look like
great.
me, you sound like me, and you are me. So I'm going to look out for you.
Yeah.
So in this whole UARC meeting, I go out. I have no funding. I'm not interested in anybody's funding. The emphasis is to bring the elder seniors
Right.
together. And I get corporate sponsorships so that you get a box lunch that you take home. I partner with Broad Street Presbyterian Church food pantry, because if you go to a food pantry, they give you a 5-pound bag of potatoes, sour cream, stuff we don't even eat and use. So they have been gracious enough, because we've been at it for about 2 years with them. They break down all the pantry items so that you get like 2 or 3 potatoes.
I
Isn't
see.
that
That's right.
wonderful?
Okay, so you don't. So the rest of them don't go to rot.
That's correct.
Because you're not going to eat all those
That
potatoes.
is correct.
Yeah.
So your supply is anywhere from a 1-day or 2-day supply, and they put fresh produce in there. So you'll get tomatoes, celery. This last one we just
Onions.
had. Onions.
Girl,
all that.
yeah.
Spaghetti. They have a nice array of non-perishables, so they'll have a longer shelf life. But this is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That we need to do, and the power of those speakers that come. So Miss Bonnie, here's what I start telling the seniors, because they were first complaining like, Pam, we want to ask questions. No, I don't have time to,
right.
because we got speaker after speaker.
Right.
But we conclude. And I have resources in the room. Vendors set up tables. I have anywhere from 4 to 6 vendors, and different vendors, that bring all of their literature, giveaways. And so I have this term that I've coined with the seniors. And I've been doing this for over a year. I said, now we've concluded our program, and you're going to speed date your resources. So I love some of my seniors. They was like, Pam, you give me a boyfriend. No, Mom, I'm not getting you a boyfriend. But I do want you to get in here and hook up with Franklin County Office on Aging. Dedicated senior services.
Yeah, the Breathing Association.
Breathing Association.
Which is a big
Do
help.
you understand me? And we're not taking advantage.
Yes.
Franklin County, and one of our seniors came. She had just had back surgery 9 months ago, and she needed a new mattress. She didn't know who to ask, where to go. She put in her application with Franklin County Office on Aging. Based upon her medical condition, they purchased her, and I'm getting in the microphone to do a commercial for this. Based upon her medical condition, they purchased a mattress, and she said they even gave her a new set of sheets.
How about that?
So if we don't know that, because they're not advertising.
We don't know. We had a man, I live in a senior building in Town and Country.
Yes.
And I got a little disturbed. I lived there once before, but mentally, I was too young to be there.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
Oh, absolutely.
You
it
know,
does.
so, but anyhow, my sister had some surgery done, so I went back to live with her. Okay, now it's time for me to get back on my own, so
That's
I went
correct.
back there, and she found me a place, yada, yada, yada. You want the second floor? No, you want the first floor? No, sir. I don't want nobody over me pacing all night, you know. So no, I says, I'll take the second floor, whatever,
Correct.
you know. She said, but your knees are bad, blah, 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 but that's okay. I have grandchildren, they'll carry my
Yes.
heavy stuff. But these people sit out there and they do nothing.
That's exactly
They have no, and I'm like, they say, you're always gone. I'm like, I'll bet you.
Absolutely.
You know? I'll bet you, because if you don't move, you're just stagnant. You got to do something. You got to, move around and stuff. And so this one guy said to me, he says, well, this is the last stop. My head turned around like Sybil. No, it is not. I have too much
Because
living to do. This is not the last stop
That's
for
how
me.
many of them
You know.
feel.
And how
And
sad.
it's
but
that's why I'm so glad we're connected, and pardon me for cutting you off.
That's okay.
Because again, this is a divine connection. And what I know about life, there's always someone who's going to start to bring the light. Now, we all carry the light, but it's always somebody that's going to bring the light and shine it in dark places. And that's what you're doing. That's what I'm doing. And foundationally, what I founded UARC on is the biblical parable of the woman at the well. When Jesus wanted to have a special encounter with that woman, he knew he had to be there at a certain time. He knew he had to send his disciples away to get him meat, because he knew they wouldn't just go seeking out let's just get him a bologna sandwich. Them dudes said, no, we're going to get him some fresh ribs. Somebody work with me today. Because he knew that would take them more time. And he wanted that encounter with that woman. But the power of what he said to her is, I can give you water where you'll never thirst again. Now here we know her background and who she was, and culturally and ethnically she shouldn't have even been talking to him because she told him. But she went back to the city and she said, come see a man. That's me, that's you, in terms of the voice.
Yes.
That we're elevating, telling the city, come back, hear about these resources, see what you need to be doing to motivate yourself, to get out of that space where you're lethargic. The last and final thing I want to reference is there is a theory that's out there, and this theory has been around for 10 years. It's called the silver tsunami. You and I are the baby boomers, and we're blowing it up. So the projection is our population is growing faster than any other population. That's data. Don't get mad with me.
Right.
Argue the data. It's not me. I'm just quoting what the data says. But what's so phenomenal about that is our children, they're on our heels, and they're being referred to in this theory as the silver tsunami. Hello?
Okay.
Because they're coming in. So what UARC does is, that's why we formed it into a coalition. We want to bring in our children and young people and do for them what we didn't get the privilege of doing. Our parents didn't tell us about Social Security, Medicare, how to get it. They were happy to have achieved 30, 35 years of working, a letter of commendation, and a gold watch or a clock, whatever they gave them. It's our duty to tell our children and address policies and issues, and that's what UARC does. So that our kids know, walking into it, and I had a young person tell me, well, we may not have Social Security. You may not. But you better start looking at the alternatives.
Exactly.
What about family wealth and legacy, the legacy of wealth?
Right.
You can still build that up if you're taught the right way.
That's exactly right. And unfortunately, you can't teach what you didn't know.
Absolutely.
So they could have, just like the Breathing Association, I found to be, it's unbelievable about our body.
Absolutely.
Right here that we know nothing about.
Absolutely.
Just this portion, just the breathing, just
The
what you
lungs and
take
all of
for
that, the respiration.
Right, and that's
Absolutely.
what you take for granted. Okay, I finally joined Dedicated. Okay.
Oh yes.
But I'm having to know. I'm not dissatisfied, but you have to, know yourself.
That is correct.
Before anybody can help you.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? And I'm just tickled that I have my mindset.
That's correct.
To want to tell my seniors, we can do this, we can do that,
Absolutely.
and we can do the other. And like even with my sister, let's go to this once a month.
Absolutely.
Give us something to do. A
You're
goal.
gonna love it. That's all I can tell you. And the resources. We even have focus groups. I'm in excellent partnership with OSU College of Nursing.
She's a nurse.
Oh,
she didn't get her
she
BS.
better come on and get on board with this, because
she got her
do
BS in at
clinical
68.
trials.
Yeah.
And one of the big clinical trials that we participated in, and see, I'm trying to teach our seniors, there are a lot of non-medication trials there's focus groups out here that we still need to be in there because our perspective is so valuable because it's different from a lot of other people. So they have clinical trials focus on and focus groups around caregiving. How many of us have been caregivers for our spouses, our parents? Do you understand me?
Yeah.
And the impact of what that does. They had focus groups around high blood pressure. That's what got me in. And nutrition. And I've been riding with them. And the next big thing that's part of my mantra is brain health. Alzheimer's and dementia. And who's missing out? People of color.
We are.
Because we're not showing up to even talk about it.
Exactly.
So
well, it's like, remember, I don't know, where were you born?
I'm originally born in, thank you for bringing me back to your question. I do apologize. Out of Toledo, Ohio.
Oh, Toledo, okay.
Yes. My parents were awesome. I have 3 older brothers. I am the baby and the only girl. And that worked for me, but only after I got in high school. Because my brothers did me wrong, but I loved them for life, and they loved me. But being reared in Toledo was a major experience because both of my parents came out of Mississippi and migrated, of course, to the north. And it was such a primary demand to get your education. And my mother was a high school graduate, and my father, needless to say, only went to the 3rd or 4th grade because during that time frame when they were being reared, you had to get out and work and bring money.
That's right.
So
to help the family.
Right. And my father was very fortunate that he landed a job in Toledo that's comparable to DCSC here, but the second defense logistics supply was in Rossford, Ohio, which was like from here to Delaware, Pickerington. So he did very well. He was a loader. And at the age of 33 or 34, he had taken off to surprise my mother, because her mother lived in Detroit, Michigan, and you know Toledo and Detroit is just a hop away. And while he was driving, and it was no alcohol, drugs, anything like that, and back in 62, so you know there were no major highways, back roads. He was speeding, hit a curve, and in that curve he lost control of his car. And instead of that city, that township, treating him, and I don't have the facts, but we know what it was about. They took the ambulance and told the ambulance take him back to Toledo. So needless to say, he lost a lot of blood. He ended up dying, and my parents were very young. And I think at that time my oldest brother was 15, 16. So it was a very devastating, but that's what family does. They pull you all together. So my passion and my love for older people came when I was young because my mother always had the mothers of the church to babysit me, right? Because I was her only girl, and that was a very protective. So I was always around old people, and I just loved them. And that love and that respect for it. And then, of course, when my mother had encountered some sickness and breast cancer, we moved her down to Columbus to be with me, and what became her primary caregiver. That whole aging process is very impactful from both angles, from the caregiver as well as the patient. So my love for older people came out of that. And I love them, and I happen to be one now.
I'm your
girl.
That's right.
I'm your girl. We your girls.
Yeah, we are.
On the posters and the billboards, because we your girls.
Yes. But I don't know. I'm hoping that we can get together real soon.
Oh, we will. You don't have to. You can delete the word "oh."
Okay.
We will schedule that because there is such an urgency
Yes.
for us to understand, and I'm saying us, those of us who carry the light, and those of us who are willing to step out and be the light. The urgency is we've got to tell our peers.
Yeah.
Get out, start taking advantage of these programs.
That's available to
That's
us.
available to you. Access.
guy-
I do the free meals.
Right. And then one guy moved in, didn't have a stitch of furniture. What do you mean you moved in here with no
Absolutely.
furniture? There's something that's called the furniture bank.
Absolutely.
They will
it
bring
is.
it. They will bring it. They won't pick you up to go choose it.
That is
but
correct.
you can choose it. You'll have your house full of furniture or whatever
they'll
you need to
deliver
get you through. They will deliver it to you, but you've got to have someone to help you take it upstairs. And if you whine enough, they will help you take it upstairs.
Absolutely. And
You know,
if you
all
check
of this is available.
with agencies, they will arrange
But
it.
you know what I found out about our seniors also?
Okay.
They are so stubborn,
Mm-hmm.
and they hate to be told. So what I do is they say, well, why are you doing this? And some of them call me Miss Bonnie just as a
Yes.
joke. And that's okay. The reason Miss Bonnie is doing this because my mama didn't have this. My mama didn't have all this stuff available to her. My mama could have maybe lived a little bit longer had she known that she could have done this.
Absolutely.
You see, no guarantee, but the point of it is the possibility.
It's availability,
was
not
there.
guarantee.
Right, but it was
Availability.
there if we had known about it. You know, and by the time we realized that, oh, she could have got this and she could have got, and like I told my sister, she'd been a nurse for so many years, made her own change and everything. So it was hard for her to, honey, it's okay if you take advantage of some of these
Absolutely.
programs. You've paid your taxes.
Absolutely.
It's okay if you
And
go
it's
over and get
there.
that. Because you did what you did when you were working is now available to you when you're not working.
Absolutely.
If you can just get them to understand that portion alone,
Absolutely.
you see, we should be all right. You know, it's just, but they so stubborn.
So let me add a footnote in there because this becomes more relevant to policy and issues. And if we don't know this, you would never know what's available. So our Franklin County commissioners, right? They oversee the Franklin County Office on Aging. So during the pandemic and after the pandemic, I'm back to what the data, it's all about the data and the facts of the data. There were many seniors who were not eating properly.
Exactly.
Many seniors who were not taking their medication.
Exactly.
Many seniors who slipped deeply, and I was one of those, into depression. And we've got to talk about it and not be afraid of it.
Yes.
Not be able.
That's what I
right.
was-
So
yeah.
the Franklin County Commissioners amended the policy and the guidelines for eligibility of through Franklin County Office on Aging. They took the income guidelines off. You ain't working with me now. To reach more seniors. So you can now get meals delivered to your home and it's not based upon your income.
Right.
I've been in that program for 2 years.
Okay.
Why are we not having more seniors take advantage of it?
We have.
If we don't, we'll lose it.
Yep. Also, what I found out with the seniors is that secrecy thing.
Absolutely.
You know, they need to get away from.
I can't
You know,
tell.
right,
tell
and don't tell nobody.
Don't bring it
You
up.
know, but you know, it's like my mama said: if you told me not to tell what you said, then you didn't say it to 5 people already.
Already,
You see?
absolutely.
But there's this secrecy from when we were little. Everything
That was
everything in the house,
ingrained in
stay
us.
in the house,
Yes.
and they still feel the same way. So we don't know that you need a at-home visiting nurse. Why
That is
why
correct.
are you limping like this? Well, I couldn't get to the doctor. Well, you know, they will provide transportation from. Let's look at your insurance policy. Oh no, I don't know where my policy is. That's not what I'm talking about, buddy. I'm trying to see what's available to you that they can come and pick you up,
Absolutely.
take you to get this bandage changed before you have your foot chopped off because of gangrene.
Absolutely.
You know, but it's so secretive. They don't want you to, to know these things. But that's if we can get past the secrecy.
Can I
thing, that
thank
would
you
help.
for doing that, number one,
Oh, yeah.
because that's how the dialogue and the engagement starts with one person saying, no, you shouldn't carry that way. Let me show you a different way, and let me show you why. The why is so important, why you should be wanting to find out and get the help you needed. You need, and even going forward with what you need. And that's where the breakdown is. And a lot of that is based upon a lack of trust. We, as people of color, we don't trust the system, and I get that. But all I say to my elder seniors and older adults, when will you start trusting? You've got to trust somebody, and you got to take advantage. And that's why I'm so thankful for your platform, Ms. Bonnie.
Oh, thank you, Ms.
This
Shields.
podcast, where we are reaching those who need to understand that the time for change is now.
That's right.
We can't wait till tomorrow. We've got to do it now, and it's going to take action on my behalf and your behalf. And we have to keep sounding the clarion call. One of my favorite movies is The Wizard of Oz, right? And The Wiz especially, but The Wizard of Oz, when she says, come out, wherever you are, that's what we're doing. Come out. I want you to come front and center. Because we want you to know what's here for you.
Right.
And in most cases, no cost.
No cost.
Home repairs, you know.
A roof. My one girlfriend got a roof up on your Hudson,
Right. Grab bars in your shower.
Right.
But if you don't know, and if you don't take advantage of it, those dollars will go other places in the general fund, starting with the state of Ohio and even the city of Columbus.
Ms. Shields, thank you so very much, and thank the Urban Aging Residents Coalition, and it is known as UARC. UARC.
The acronym UARC. UARC. And
hopefully we can speak again soon.
Oh, we will.
Thank you.
Just let me know. Thank you.
This is Bonnie concluding our broadcast. Thank you.
Like, subscribe.
Right, I was getting there. I remembered. See, I didn't even, usually have it written down, but I got it now. Now you're going to tell me, okay? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
That brings us to the end of another episode of Senior Talk with Ms. Bonnie. We'd like to thank Ms. Shields for sharing her knowledge and insights. If you want to stay connected with our community of senior citizens, be sure to follow us on social media. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our podcast for future episodes. Remember, it's never too late to learn and grow, so let's embrace new experiences and opportunities together. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next episode. The music you hear is produced by Jay Ross for Polar Entertainment and appears on his album Jazz Hop. You'll find the link in the description.